The movement is about justice, they said. The movement is about equality, they said. The movement is about civil rights, they said. Well, what do they say now that a BLM mob forced a white man to crash his truck before beating him unconscious? Is that what civil rights, equality, and justice look like? I think the hell not. And it's time we stop giving this group and this movement a pass. It's time for final thoughts. Yep, you heard that right, folks. Late Sunday evening in Portland, a mob of lawless and rabid BLM savages surrounded a man's pickup while the woman he was with was attacked, punched, and tackled to the ground. The driver was then repeatedly punched and mauled by the mob, and his Ford truck kicked repeatedly. When he was able to flee, several clips posted to social media show the mob chasing him and then laughing after he crashed his truck into a tree and then a building. He was then ripped out of his truck and tackled while pleading for help, was screaming he wasn't trying to hurt anyone and was just trying to get away. But the mob didn't relent and continued to mercilessly beat him, kicking him in the head, knocking him as he fell and cracked his head on the ground. Social media clips then show some of the BLM mob rifling through his truck as his wife sobbed nearby. The man was unconscious for much of the 2.5-minute clip circulating online. The thugs can be heard yelling, "Black Lives Matter, COVID is real, and get your bitch ass up." The man was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The clips in the scene are so disgustingly repulsive, I nearly threw up watching it. How can these animals be so absolutely despicable to another human being? And better question, how is this shit still happening? How have these lawless, rabid, and disgusting domestic terrorists been allowed to continue this bullshit for 2 solid months? And it's not just Portland either. This act of terror comes after Portland has once again been declared a riot zone and 2 officers were hospitalized after thugs threw a 10-pound rock at them. And after a BLM mob in Seattle ransacked a predominantly white neighborhood demanding residents give up their homes. How can anyone with a functioning brain and soul pass this off as justice for George Floyd or a fight to end systemic racism? This is none of the above. This is domestic terrorism being carried out by a Marxist domestic terrorism organization that has for too long masqueraded itself as some kind of a social justice and civil rights movement. It's not. And I hope every person, politician, organization, and company that has posted a BLM black box on social media or advance and advertise this BLM terrorist group understands what they've supported. Look around. You are actively supporting a movement whose leaders have told you they want to defund the police, whose leaders have told you they are trained Marxists, whose mobs burn down communities and seek to replace them and advance their agenda by any means necessary. How is this group not only tolerated but encouraged and applauded by the left, by pop culture, the mainstream media, and by elected Democrat leaders? Are you co-signing this behavior? Is this still the fight and the movement you want to support, donate to, and get behind? If so, you're not fit to call yourself a leader, and quite frankly, you're not fit to call yourself a decent human. President Trump, it is time for you to take action. These lawless cities run by lawless Democratic mayors who will not enforce the law and will not keep good people safe need executive intervention. And quite frankly, mayors like Portland's own Ted Wheeler need to stand trial for the violence, destruction, and dereliction of duty their lack of leadership has created, encouraged, and sustained. This is enough of this. Law and order now. Those are my final thoughts from Nashville. God bless and take care.